Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Shane Flynn Outdoors. Hey, it's been a rough day out on the lake. I've been out here a couple hours trying to catch some almost wintertime bass, and I hadn't had much luck. Actually got one small one, and then the one big one that I got a hold of, you know, the ultimate thing happened. Broke my pole, and pretty disappointing. This is a nice, I've been fishing with this Fenwick Eagle rod for many years, few years. It's a great crankbait rod, but the biggin got me this time. So what I thought I would do is, since it's Black Friday, coming up, this will release on Black Friday. I thought I would talk about some great things to buy if you're a fisherman for Christmas. Hey, maybe you take this and you show your wife if you want to have some, give her some ideas for what you want to buy for Christmas or for Christmas gifts. But I thought I'd talk about some of the good products that I feel like that I have that I could share with you that maybe you would potentially go out there and purchase. I think they're really good products, and I fished with what I'm going to show you pretty much all year and caught quite a few bass. And I'll start with the good stuff. I'll start with fishing reels. So I am a big fan of Daiwa fishing reels, and I have actually, I will probably turn all of my reels this year by next spring over to Daiwa. And I'm really high on this Daiwa Tatula C100. It's a great reel. It's a smaller reel. I use this on my spinnerbait rod. I use it on anything that I'm going to be casting a lot with. I like the small reel. It only has about 220 yard capacity for 14-pound test line, but if you need more than 220 yards, you probably don't have your drag set right. But I think it's a great reel. I have one in my spinnerbait rod right here. I keep this in a 6:3:1 gear ratio. It's a really good, you know, really smooth reel. And then on my cranking rod, my second cranking and action rod, I have this is the I think this is the Hfx C100 Tatula reel, and I have this one in a 7:1 gear ratio. These reels are phenomenal. I don't think I've ever backlashed one. If I backlashed, it was because it was my fault. These are a set and forget reel. You can look on Tackle Direct or Bass Pro, whatever, whoever sells them. You will get nothing but rave reviews on these Tatula reels, and you can get them in the C100, 200, 300. You know, they're bigger the size. I like the 100 series. Man, I can throw anything with these reels. I'm very impressed with them. They're $159 if I'm not mistaken normally, and I seen them advertised in a flyer that came to my mailbox a few days ago at Bass Pro Shop for Black Friday for $129.99. That's a steal. Really great reels. The Daiwa Tatula, I like the C100s. You can get them in the 200, 300 capacity, but man, are they great reels. You guys see me throw a spinnerbait all the time. It's one of my favorite things to throw in the wind, and I never backlash with it. I don't care if it's a gusty wind or a calm wind. So I'd highly recommend it. If you want to try something else, we all have our favorites, right? Mine was Abu Garcia growing up. I switched over to Shimano and then to Quantum, but I'll tell you, everything in my arsenal from here on out when I buy a reel will be these Daiwa Tatulas. So the other reel that I would highly recommend, and I went this same brand, Daiwa, on my spinning rod. And this rod and reel combo that I have set up, I'll talk about both, but I'll start with the reel. This is the reel I use for Kaitec fishing. When I say Kaitec fishing, swim bait fishing with the Kaitec. And I'll show you those in just a bit. If you follow my channel, you know I just destroyed bass during the summer, especially midsummer and late summer, on the Kaitec. And this was the reel I used. And I'm not a big fan of spinning reels. I grew up throwing bait casters, but I switched over because I like the drop shot, and I switched over my swim bait. Actually, here's a Kaitec on a spin head I tried today, but I went to a spinning rod setup. And the main reason I didn't like spinning reels and spinning rods is spinning reels tend to get loops in the line. I went and bought this Daiwa Fuego LT is what it's called. Yeah, Daiwa Fuego LT. I bought this reel. I haven't had a line loop one. You know how you get your line loops in there, and you want to pull your line out quite often and get your line straight. I don't do that with this reel. I mean, it was $100 spinning reel, which is, $99, which is kind of high for a spinning reel, but quality matters, and I have had no issues, none, with this reel. Matter of fact, I'll switch I have one other on my medium light rod, but my medium heavy will go from a Shimano to this Daiwa Fuego reel. Great reel. I have had no issues, no line loops, no tangles at all. Just a really, really great reel. $99, and if you can get it better than that, it's a great price. And again, it's the Daiwa Fuego LT spinning reel. Now, one of the things that I discovered this year is some custom rods that I really like. And this rod that I have here, I think I could feel a fly land on the tip of this rod. It's so sensitive. And what I've discovered, and I will be replacing that broke rod with, is Halo rods. I'll hold this up there. This is a Halo Hfx Series Rod. I really, really, really am impressed with the craftsmanship and the sensitivity and the feel of this rod. It's a great balanced rod. It's very, very sensitive. They have different level. Halo has high dollar rods to the mid to low level rods. This one is the Hfx series. I think it was $159. Well worth the money. I caught, like I said, if you follow this channel, caught a lot of bass on this rod with a Kaitec over the summer. Hey, get you one for Christmas. They have different versions. The Black Widow, I think, is their top line of rod. It's $189. This Hfx, very impressed. And I'm going to try out some of their other rods, and I'm going to start testing out their bait casters. Like I said, I'll replace that one I broke today with these Halo rods. And they're really, really good rods. Really sensitive. I like the craftsmanship, and the feel in my hand is phenomenal. So if you're looking for a new rod for Christmas, Halo, try those out. You can get them at Tackle Direct. I think that's where I bought this one at, and I'll put links down in the comments to where to find each one of these rods and reels that I just talked about. Everybody, again, kind of has their favorite place to get their tackle, and I like one-stop shop. Right now, I would say Tackle Warehouse is where I get most of my stuff, but I was just introduced to I think it's Tackle Direct. It has great deals as well. And you're always the classic Cabela's Bass Pro Shop. But what I discovered, and I'll start talking about the baits, is one of the baits that I started fishing this year, you can't get at Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's. And that's the Kaitec. The Kaitec Easy Shiner. I caught a lot of bass. And of course the airplane's flying over right when I talk. Caught a lot of bass on this Kaitec Easy Shiner. Matter of fact, this is the favorite color that I used. And this is the Copperfield color. Caught a lot of bass, and I have them in the 4.5 inch and the 5 inch, or the 4 inch and the 5 inch. I like the Texas rig, the bigger ones, with the specialized hook. I actually have it here with the weighted hook in the bottom with the screw in. So that's how I rig the 5 inch ones. And then the 4 inch, I just put on a Z-Man mushroom head jig and just fish it that way. If you haven't tried Kaitec, I'm really high on these. Another local fisherman has a channel, Titus Pope, Your Next Cast. He fishes with these. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, he's how I got a hold of these, by watching his channel. Lots of bass. I caught lots and lots of bass this summer. You can always stock up in Christmas. These are something that I would say this is worth stocking up. They're great baits. In a 4 inch and a 5 inch. The other thing from Kaitec that I have discovered recently with my jig fishing, and I bought these in the spring, is the Kaitec creature bait. These creature baits are phenomenal. It's called the Easy Flapper, or the Crazy Flapper. I have these on my jig as a trailer right now, and I've caught quite a few bass on them. I really like the action. If you're going to get Kaitec, might as well try these. The Kaitec, this is their creature bait. It's called the Crazy Flapper, and it has tons and tons of, here it is on my jig right now, has tons and tons of action tentacles on there, and it's just a good profile bait. And it's just not curly ends to it. They got, you know, a lot of weight and they flap around. That's why they call it the Crazy Flapper. Really good trailer, and I fished it. It's just a creature bait as well, not just on a jig. It works out real good. So that's the Kaitec Crazy Flapper. Now they got them in different sizes. I'm fishing mine. I think these are 4.5. Yes, they're 4.5 inch Crazy Flappers. So that's something else you could try out for Christmas and stock up on those. Now, a lot of you know, if you watch this channel, I catch a lot of bass on spinnerbaits. And I fish a chatterbait a lot too, but spinnerbait seems to be the one that catches the most attention. Last week I caught quite a few bass on a spinnerbait out here at this lake, and I got 3 brands that I have come to like, primarily because they have titanium arms on them. And the first one is the Molex titanium spinnerbait. I really like these. They're a little pricey. I think these are $13.99. That's kind of a lot for a spinnerbait. They don't break. You can't tear these up. They're very tough. The titanium arms make for the action of the spinnerbait. And I bend my spinnerbaits around. You know, I'll raise it to get more action out of my blade sometimes. And with the titanium, you don't have to worry about damaging those arms and breaking one off. I think I've had one break. None of the titaniums break, like your standard Strike King ones, they will break off. And the other ones that I really like that I picked up this year are the Z-Man. I really like the Z-Man Sling Blade. They call it the Sling Blade by Luke Clausen. Really good. I like that in a 1/2 ounce. Caught a lot of bass. Actually caught a 5-pounder. I'm pointing right there on that point. Caught a 5-pounder on one of my first episodes on this exact same bait in this lake. So really good. And then the third one I would tell you I catch a lot on, and I like them because of the actual blades themselves, and that's the War Eagle. The War Eagle spinnerbaits, and I like the hammered blades. They give a lot of flash off. So I fish with the War Eagle, as well as it's got titanium, but I really like the blades with the hammered blades on them. So the next bait I'm going to tell everybody about, I haven't caught a lot of bass on video and put it on the channel, but I've caught a lot of bass on them, and that's the old chatterbait. You can't go wrong with the Z-Man chatterbaits. I really like the perch color. I like them in the 1/2 ounce size. And if you don't have a Z-Man chatterbait in like a perch and a white, or do I have another one? Oh, right here. I have another one. Another is chartreuse and white. These are like the staple colors for chatterbait that I really like here in Virginia. I mean, wherever you're watching from, you might have a different color. But these are like the staple. You got to have these in there. And I said this on one of my other videos. When I buy a bait, I typically buy 2 of the same. That's why I have some in the box and some not. But you never want to be out on the lake and lose a bait like I did today when I lost that nice bass today. I lost my bait and my pole, and not have a backup if you're really catching fish on them. So just a recommendation: buy 2 when you go to buy one, unless maybe you're experimenting in some way. Well, that's the baits and the rods and reels I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, if you want to get out there, and you know, I don't get sponsored by nobody. I'm just talking about the things that I caught fish on that you might want to buy for Christmas, or have your spouse buy you for Christmas. You know, tell her to watch Shane Flynn Outdoors for the Black Friday edition is what we'll call it. Hopefully you'll have lots of rods and reels and fishing tackle under the tree for you this year. So until next time, tight lines and good luck fishing.